What's going on, Bills Mafia? I'm your boy TG. It's my boy Nature Boy. Welcome back to Top Billing. But before we get started, man, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, click on that notification bell, just to let you know we got a show. I'm
Yes,
excited to be.
sir.
I'm excited to be back. Lord knows, I'm excited to be back.
Yes,
So,
sir. It's been a long time, brother. It's
been
been a
a long time.
long time.
Been a long time. So, but it's good, man. So we got a lot to talk about, man. Since the last time
Oh
we did
yeah.
the show. Um, our Bills got bounced out the playoffs. Um, a lot of people have their thoughts about that. You know, um, I, I thought it was a good game. I think
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so resilience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Patty showed he's the man. So and not just Patty. I mean that entire team, the coaching staff. So I mean, we just lost to a missed field goal. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of the season that we had collectively, man. We marched back to win our division. You know what I'm saying? Get the number 2 seed, and um, I think Sean McDermott did a hell of a job.
Oh
So
yeah. Tooth and nail. Tooth and nail.
tooth and nail, band-aids and bubble gum is how
Mhm.
we held that team together, man. We had to call
Hey,
AJ
yeah.
Klein off the street.
Oh yeah. We went crawling into the playoffs and crawling and putting that mouthpiece in at the same time. Getting ready for back in the day round 15, baby. Let's go.
I think we had more people on IR than we did on our roster.
Hey man, what is you saying? Like the patchwork that we had going into the playoffs and the type of performance that we put, on in the playoffs. Like you say, hats out to the coaching staff and Sean McDermott for being able to hold it down, for being able to show you what real depth pieces are utilized for, and that we just don't pick up guys just to pick up guys to fill roster spots. Anybody that we put on this roster is capable of performing. We
Yeah,
we we see that year in and year out.
yeah,
Even if guys somewhat is a liability, man, they end up being uh, you know, somewhat special. And somebody like Terrell Dotson is a prime example of that. Once he first got on the field this year, man, he had his more downs than ups. But by the
mhm,
time we got to the playoffs, man, we didn't have to worry about T Dot at all.
at all. Yep, yep. So collectively a good season, man.
Mhm.
Um, but also it was a season that we needed to reevaluate to see what we needed to change. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, change is not bad at all. Change is good. So clearly, we clean house in every aspect of cleaning house when it comes to coaching, and I'm not sure about the other staff that works, in the facilities, um,
Right.
but as far as like coaching and players, man, they clean out. They definitely clean house. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but before we get started, man, shout out to Damon Harris, man. He retired today. Um,
Okay. Okay. I
yeah,
wasn't aware of that. I done had a pretty busy day today. I wasn't aware of that.
yeah, man. Not too long looked at it, and yeah, he announced his retirement. I'm sure it has something to do with his neck.
Yeah.
Apparently had a neck injury, and he don't like. I guess he don't want to test it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Aaron Donald too. I'm pretty sure everybody said what they needed to say, but I think Aaron Donald is first ballot Hall of Famer, and he definitely showed everybody how the game should be played with
Oh
tenacity,
yeah. Oh
consistency.
yeah.
You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
Dominance. You
Yeah.
know, it wasn't recruited high. I guess coming out of high school, and he worked tooth and nail for everything he earned, man. So
Yeah.
shout out to
Yeah.
him,
It was
Donald,
it
man.
was truly it was truly an honor to watch him play.
Was yeah, it definitely was. I've never seen a first of all, I've never seen a defensive tackle of his stature.
Right.
And
Well,
another
maybe
thing,
John Randall.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, he dude has a 6 pack. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I've never seen dude and he plays with such attitude. So
Right,
that guy is phenomenal. I've never seen a defensive tackle play that position like Aaron Donald did. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So
Unblockable,
unblock,
unblockable, man.
unblockable.
When it mattered most, he always showed up.
Yes,
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of unnecessary sacks that just piled up the stat sheet. He had clutch moment sacks, ended games,
yeah,
won a Super Bowl. You know
yep,
what I'm saying?
yep,
And 3-time defensive player of the year. Uh, what 9-time All Pro, 10-time All Pro, however many it is. I mean, it's a ridiculous number. You
yeah,
know, 111 sacks from the three tech. Like you say, man, it's just truly remarkable. Uh, a freak of nature, not in a way of being supersized, but being so undersized and compact, but yet being such a dominant force. Like you say, we hadn't seen anything like that, and it might be a long time before we see anything like that again.
yeah, yeah. So shout out to them dudes, man. Good luck to them as they move on with their career. But let's get on this coaching staff, man. Let's get on this coaching staff.
Yeah,
I feel, I know everybody, probably looked at other podcasts and, everybody had their thoughts about it. You know what I'm saying? I'll definitely want to give our thoughts about it. My thought about it is I'm excited. I mean, this is a completely detailed coaching staff that they put together mainly on defense, on the defensive side of the ball. Pretty much they clean house, but first and foremost, man, Eric Washington, man, good riddance. I'm glad you're out of here, brother.
yeah,
More success to you for the Bears, even though you ain't calling plays, but much success to you for Chicago. But other than that, man, we got, young coaches. I'm excited about our DC. I'm excited about every positional coach that, you know, that that we signed on. Um,
oh yeah, Bobby
even
B.
even even Curry being our quarterback coach.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
definitely excited about that, man. So
Mm-hmm.
um, something had to change, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you know, for a couple of years now, we've been saying, hey, you know what, we can't keep doing the same thing. Something has to change. Whether it's players, whether it's coaches. In this case, in the first place, in the first wave, became the coaches. You know what I'm saying? We weren't willing to give, Butler an opportunity at DC or keep his position as a secondary coach. Um, we weren't willing to give Eric Washington an opportunity as a defensive coordinator. So he walked. Um, but like I say, I mean, it's just one of those things that we had to look in ourselves as a organization and be like, okay, how what how are we going to hit this reset button? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we're getting older. We're hella under the cap. Oh, I'm sorry, over the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we just have to do something different. So they start with the coaches. I'm excited about the philosophy behind it. It's going to be
Yeah.
more development, more hands-on,
Mm-hmm.
um, more fundamentally sound because they sign a lot of young coaches. It's a new wave.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so it's just a lot of opportunity in that building. So I was excited when I heard about it. I wish everybody else. I'm honestly wishing everybody else, good luck. But Eric Washington, good riddance. So what are your thoughts on the clean sweep in our coaching department?
Well, overall, I'm happy that the coaching staff and as a whole got younger. You know, you got to keep the game is changing in ways of getting away from that old school style. It's changing year in and year out. And it's good to have a younger perspective in leadership roles, that's able to teach and able to relate to these younger players, you know, more so than the way we were coached when we were coming up. That
Yeah.
hardcore getting your ass kind of coaching, you know what I'm saying? Pause. But that kind of coaching nowadays just doesn't really relate to younger players, man. They tend to be more defensive towards that, or just put themselves in a shell instead of receiving that kind of coaching. So as a whole, it's good. And Bobby Babbage, sorry for butchering his name like that. For real, he brings a fire to this defense. You seen what he done with our safety group. You seen what he done with our linebackers, man. And him taking over the reins. They haven't said who's gonna call plays yet, but him being able to take what Sean has put in place with this defense, put his spin on it, and able to, relate it to the players, man. It's gonna be awesome to watch it unfold as the season plays on.
Yeah.
I really want to see how they're going to go about doing this. I know it'll still, excuse me, it'll still probably be, a nickel defense, you know, uh 4-2-5. That's just gonna be our philosophy as long as Sean McDermott's coaching, I believe. But we have the personnel to be able
We've
to
been in
do it.
a top 10 defense for years under a
Yeah,
4-2-5. So,
yeah,
uh, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change
yeah.
it
I
either.
mean, it has its flaws, just like any defense has flaws. It has ways where it can be exposed. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, holistically, our defense as a whole, you see, top 10 year in, year out. Uh, Even some of the top defenses in the league that's known for defense can't even say that. And we'll never be put in the category of the Baltimore Ravens or the Pittsburgh Steelers, those type defenses. But our numbers have been better than theirs over the last 10 years when you look at it as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, not excluding this past year, I believe we were number 8 last year, the past season.
Mm-hmm.
The prior few seasons before that, we were top 3 across the board.
Yeah,
A couple
yeah,
of times number 1, and I think one of those number 3. So, I mean, um, with running that type of defensive, philosophy.
yeah.
Um,
And of course, you're going to fall out of the top 5 when you got all pros dropping week in and week out.
I'm
What do
not
you
even
expect?
concerned about that. I was actually impressed that we finished in the top 10. I mean, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
with what we had. Like I said, we put things together with bubblegum and band-aids, and
Mm-hmm.
they still perform at a high level. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So, um, but to your point, it's a new philosophy that we have, within, um our coaching style, you know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things that it just feels that Coach McDermott has exactly what he wants in regards to how he want his team coached in regards to teaching, being a teacher. You know what I'm saying?
right.
He has, the guy die is going to be what the corners coach. Um, people speculate about, you know, maybe, Kyrie Elam will probably be a better player, you know, under somebody being hands on,
Mm-hmm.
which is, a good investment, in regards to him. But overall, it's just, we got to be fundamentally sound.
Yeah,
So the approach, I love the approach. I love the philosophy, that, our front office, has within this. And, and let's not take anything away from the offensive side of the ball. We still got a same offensive line coach. We
mm-hmm.
retained Brady. He brought in, Curry, who was also aligned with Brady. So got a couple of guys from William Mary, and it's just fresh philosophies that we have, and it's
Yeah,
something that we need. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
because
I think,
this is going to be a different offense. This offense is not going to look the same as it did under Dayball and under
Dorsey,
uh
Dorsey,
yeah, under Kid Dorsey.
yeah.
It's not. It's going to look completely different, man. And I'm excited to see a different approach with Josh Allen. We've seen the same thing for the past 5 years, 4 years, have whatever Dabo came in. And yeah, it's flashy, but it don't get the job done in the playoffs, man.
Nope.
Like our offense sputters somewhat in the playoffs. Yeah, we didn't have big games. I'm not gonna say we haven't had big games, but when it comes to our key players shining in the playoffs, Diggs is you look at his numbers in the playoffs and it's mediocre, man. You know, uh, I feel like Kincaid this second year, man, he's gonna be utilized in such a way to where he's gonna be possibly a Pro Bowl tight end once the season's over and done with. I mean, how many catches did he have last season?
I don't know. He's
70
either
something, 80.
over 70, over 80, something like that. He had over
Yeah,
like 777 yards receiving, something
yeah.
like.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
then you add a Samuel to the mix. You know, who's worked under Brady. He's going to be utilized in ways that we haven't had a player that we been able to utilize like that. We've tried, but it hasn't really worked out. And I look at Samuel uh, uh, as more than a gadget player.
oh
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? He's more than a gadget player. So uh, we haven't had a, a 4-3 type speed guy on this offense, to be honest with you. You know, McKenzie was 4-3, but it was more straight line. He didn't have much wiggle to him, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm excited to see what this offense can do with a different philosophy, younger coaching staff. You know, like you say, the run Curry hire. I was super excited when I seen that. You know, I
hmm
know what kind of player this guy was coming out of high school, going into college. He was number one ranked in basketball and football. You know, amazing athlete. And I know he has a mind for the game. You know, so he's going to help Josh Allen a lot in his maturation going into this next phase of his career.
yeah. I agree. I agree. So, like I said, both sides of the football, coaching staff. That was our first, stepping stone, and in regards to changing, uh, going into the next season, and I was very impressed and pleased on the decisions that we made collectively as a front office to, make these changes. So,
Mm-hmm.
let's go on, man. So um, Black Wednesday. Black Wednesday was a day when Brandon Beane brought his axe to One Bills Drive and start chopping up contracts
Yep.
and cutting players. So
We knew it was coming.
my hey, you know what? It was I think J Po was the first big name, and then Mitch Morse followed, and after that Trey. Saron Neal was just it was like, okay, bye. Um, but for the most part, those three in particular were like, my God, you know, um, my heart dropped which we kind of expected. When it comes to Trey,
Mm-hmm.
when he got cut, I was like, okay, I mean, of course, we understood all those moves that happened, but it's just Brandon Beane had to do what he had to do, and this is
Right.
this is where Bills Mafia has to respect a guy like this. Like, you know, yeah, he's an easygoing guy.
Mm-hmm.
He to me, I had to talk about players coach. I mean, he's a players GM.
Yeah.
Um, He's very honest and straightforward, with anybody, um, media, players, what have you. I see him on what's the dude, the
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee. Yeah, I see him on the show. He's honest on whatever interview he's on. He's very honest. So
Oh
and
yeah,
very straightforward and detailed. You know what I'm saying? So you have to respect a guy like that. So
yeah.
um but
A player's never the blind dealing with Brandon
never,
Beane.
never, never. And like I say, he'll definitely, he doesn't really sugarcoat anything. It's just what it is. Um,
Right.
but we haven't really seen Brandon Beane to this magnitude, as an executive. So I mean, yeah, when he did it, it was just like Brandon Beane, you striking again. And it's just
Yeah.
one of those things you have to have those tough conversations. You have to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, Poyer and Manhyde and Morris, yeah, they were the foundation, as far as leadership is concerned. And now we've
Mm-hmm.
seen a drop in production when it comes to Poyer and Hyde. And, we got to move forward,
Yeah.
so, and outside of just, the drop in production, we had to make some room. So we had to make some tough decisions. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not, it wasn't a sad day. It was more of excitement for me, because I was like, okay, it's a new era now. We already,
Yep.
you know, got our coaches on board. Got a whole, I ain't gonna say a whole new coaching staff, but for the most part, we got a lot of new faces on our coaching staff.
Yep.
Um, and now, it's an opportunity to get younger as a football team. We got
Yeah.
11 draft picks. I wonder how many we're gonna keep. So it's just we're hitting the reset button without going in rebuild mode. So, um, like I said, those players. I hate that we didn't get a ring. J. Poe and Hyde mainly. Um, but just like Lorenzo Alexander, I mean, and Kyle Williams is like you
Yeah.
guys, definitely
They set the
had,
blueprint. They set the blueprint for Poyer and Hyde to take the reins of that defense. They took the reins of that defense and turned it into a top 5 defense year in and year out.
yep,
They wasn't able to do what they needed to do as far as winning the Super Bowl, but they set the blueprint for this next wave.
yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yep.
The defense is not gonna miss a beat.
No,
Yeah,
and
the defense is not
we'll
gonna
get
miss a
those
beat.
Sunday.
Yeah, yeah, you'll see. Yeah, you'll see. It won't miss a beat. And like you say, as far as the names that we let go, once I seen Poyer get released, it wasn't a shock. It's like, okay, yeah, he had 100 tackles last year, but he was really a liability in coverage, man.
He
Tight
was.
ends ate him alive this year. You
Yep.
know, he couldn't get to the edge in the run game. A lot of the times he was getting beat to the edge. We just seen it. It wasn't the same J. Poe that barely made it through the year before because he was so banged up.
Yeah.
He scratched and clawed to make it through last season. Season before last. So
Yeah.
the biggest shock to me was Mitch Morse. He's the anchor of that offensive line. He called the fronts, for the offensive line. I was surprised, but I understood. You know what I'm saying? I understood. I figured Saron Neal was gonna get let go. It was the last year of his contract. He had got a pretty decent deal for a special teamer when he did re-sign with us. So I figured his time was up as well. You didn't even really hear his name much last year. Uh, and I was shocked that we kept Dawson Knox. I just knew for sure that Dawson Knox, with his cap number, was going to be gone. I'm like, there's no way after the season Kincaid had. I said, there's no way we're keeping Dawson Knox. I'm super happy that we did. I'm,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
glad he I'm glad he decided to take the hometown discount and stick around with us for at least another season. But the moves that we made and the restructuring contracts of Von Miller, uh, 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 Josh Allen, re-signing Teron Johnson and Dawkins, that helped the cap number out a lot. Brandon Beane showed when he came in 2017 that he was capable of doing this and capable of cutting players that are household names for the Buffalo Bills. He did it almost day one when he stepped in the building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was just time, like you say, to hit the reset button again, and it's time to start with a new wave. We closed the door on that chapter of the Buffalo Bills, but we didn't close the door on our Super Bowl window like a lot of the media wants to, put out to the public.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and it's actually entertaining to listen to, you know.
Oh,
Um
it is. Oh, I love it.
it's
It's
just, you
foolish.
know, hearing Stephen
You
A.
you remember you remember the ESPN commercial where the guys was talking sports, and the guys who didn't know what the hell they was talking about, they sounded muffled because they was talking out their ass. Everybody on ESPN talks out of their ass,
Yeah.
and it's hilarious to me. The
Yeah.
only person that got good sense over there is Mina Kimes and Dan Orlovsky.
Yep.
Everybody else, I don't know what the hell they be talking about.
They don't. They don't know what they're
That's
talking.
bullshit.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying is entertaining. Like, for example,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Mayock, he mocked for the Bills to get a corner in the first round. So he knows
And
nothing.
that shows why he lasted as long as he did as a GM. That shows exactly right there why he lasted as long as he did as a GM.
But you know what? But that's what I'm saying is like, you know, think about what they thought about Matt Milano. You know, they didn't know Matt Milano until probably 2 seasons ago. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And Matt Milano's been consistently doing what he's been doing, you know, for years since he's, I ain't gonna say, yeah, pretty much since he's been allowed to be a starter. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, same thing with Christian Benford. They don't know
Yep.
what they don't know Christian Benford, man. You know, I mean, all they know is Kyle Elam is not starting. We traded for Russell. You know, we getting rid of Trey, and we quote unquote have an open spot, or we need corner help immediately. You know, this upcoming draft. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know Christian Benford, so that's what I'm saying. Is like people could
And
speculate,
don't forget to Ron Johnson in the slot. We have 3 legitimate starters at corner.
which was top three of those, Benford, Douglas, and Teron, were in the top 13 in PFF of corners this past year.
Yeah.
So
So
that says a lot.
but we
That
need to
says
get
a
us
lot.
one in first.
That's what I'm
We
saying.
better
Top 13 corners in the league, we got 3 of them in the top 13. So we're going in regards to PFF. So I mean, I'm not really concerned about what people are saying. You know, I'm just, as a fan and as us being fans, I think we should know what we have, trust the fact that we're getting players, in which we'll talk about here in a second, that fits our organization, fit what we got going on, you know, fits going on within the process. Because, like I said, man, you know, it's a new era, and what we've done in free agency definitely show, you know, what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? To help, you know, rebuild this. I ain't gonna say rebuild, but you know, construct this roster. So
Yeah,
let's talk about free
retool.
agency additions. You know, I was excited, man. You know, I wasn't the only thing I would say I was tripping about. I was kind of antsy about a safety. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, me and a lot of other people. You know, people were kind of antsy about receiver and safety. Me
Mm-hmm.
personally, you know, and you know this. I mean, I kind of knew that we were going to sign Curtis Samuel. Um,
Yeah, you said it.
yeah, I already knew it was either going to be Mooney or Samuel. But I was like, being the fact that he has history with Brady, Samuel had his best year with Brady. I was like, eh. And then Beane was there when they drafted Samuel, so I was like, most likely we're gonna sign him. But on top of that, um, we got players that actually fit what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Fit our philosophy and how we play, Buffalo football. So,
Mm-hmm.
don't need the big names like Chicago Bears did. We just need players that make solid contributions and that can make plays within our scheme.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about the acquisitions. Let's start with defense. But before we do that, we did, of course, we took care of business. We did the top two signs that we took care of was the Dequan Jones, re-signed,
Mm-hmm.
and along with AJ Epinesa.
Yep.
So those two, we were like, okay, we need to make sure we take care of that, and we did.
Yeah.
So we definitely checked those off the box, and then
Yeah.
we signed. Oh, I'm sorry, extended Dawkins, which was important,
Yeah.
and also Teron Johnson. So on top of that, let's just talk about defensive side of the ball. No particular order. Um, so let's talk about we got to read our big fish in Mike Edwards. That
Mm-hmm.
was that was big, man. I mean, just one of those things again because I wanted Jeremy Chin
Right.
badly. I wanted Jeremy
Yeah, yeah, me and you both, man. Yeah, me and
Chin.
you both, man. Physical freak, man. Like we
Oh
hadn't had a presence like that on defense ever in Buffalo Bills history, man.
yeah, man, 6'4", 220 something pounds, safety, 4.3
Yeah.
speed. I mean, and coachable. I felt like he
Yeah.
was. You know what I'm saying? He's got to
Yeah.
put it in the right situation. But, having him and Taylor Rapp, man, just envisioning it, man, this got me excited. But
Yeah.
the addition of Mike Edwards um got me excited as well. So, you know, what he brings to the table for me, you got somebody that's versatile, can play in the box, come up and knock your block off.
Mm-hmm.
I heard an interesting stat. I think he has a 19% missed tackle rate, which is very concerning. But the fact that he's not afraid to stick his nose, where it belongs, is just encouraging. So, I mean, he can do whatever Poyer can do. But you got a more athletic person. I think he has a good nose for the football. He had I don't know how many pick six, with but the Bucks. Um,
I
so
know he's had 4 total defensive touchdowns, 3 pick sixes, and a fumble recovered for a touchdown.
right, so I mean, we got ourselves a playmaker.
Yeah.
Only been in the league for 5 years, I believe. 27 years old.
I think it might be 6. I think he spent 4 with the Bucks. He going into year 6.
Going into year 6, yeah. So, very young, kind of around the same age as Rap. I think they was in the same draft class. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Very versatile player. Somebody eager to, for opportunity. So, he started in the postseason with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Very successful. So that's what I'm saying. You're getting a rangy player, rangy safety, somebody that that like you said that we can probably extend, for the long haul.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so that was a good signing, man. That's a good fill in. Rap Edwards, of course, we need to build more depth around that because you know um, my concern is I don't know how durable Rap is. So we have to make sure we can get somebody that can fill right in and not miss a beat.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He hardcore.
yeah, that's what I'm
He
saying. It's
gonna
not
stick
because
his
he's soft.
nose in there.
It's, he's definitely a thumper. So
Mm-hmm.
um, we signed Nicholas Morrow as well, man.
Yeah.
I think his best season was 2 seasons ago with 116 total tackles for the Eagles. Um, listen to Greg Cosell, man. He was like, he wasn't really high on this guy. You know, I think Greg Cosell is a Eagles fan, and he was like,
Yeah,
Nick Morrow was part of the problem. you
yeah.
know, so,
He said he was really one of the main problems,
yeah,
in the Eagles' run defense, and
right,
most definitely in pass coverage, he was terrible.
yeah,
He'll be somebody like he's a depth piece, a
hmm
special teamer. I don't expect him to get many snaps with the starting lineup. I don't look at Dorian Williams as much of a special teamer, which he probably, he can play on kickoff coverage and stuff like that. But I believe Morrow has more experience, and Dorian Williams going to more so take over the role of T. Dot.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I agree.
he's just a depth piece. If somebody does get injured, he'll possibly have to fill in. Maybe with being under Bobby Babbage and our coaching staff, he might play a little better. Might have a better instinct. Playing
Yeah,
behind guys like Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard.
yeah,
Those are two very instinctive linebackers. So you can't help but learn from watching guys like that.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I said, man, it's somebody that with experience who's probably got the same skill set.
I was surprised at how undersized he was, but
Yeah, yeah, I was too. But like you said, good special teamer, good depth piece. Um, it's just we'll see when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't really watch too much film on him, but
me
um,
neither.
I mean, it was just like okay, all right, kind of like the Trent Sherfield signings last year. So it's just we'll just see what he brings to the table under good coaching.
Right.
So the next guy, we talk about is Casey Toohill. Toohill.
Mm-hmm.
Washington, I think he had his best season last year. 23
Mm-hmm.
total tackles, 5 sacks.
Yeah.
Um, when Sweat and Young, departed, it seemed like he got a little bit more opportunity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
And
that's
I
six,
watched a little film on him.
yeah, tough. He has good
Mm-hmm.
motor. Um, he's he's just a blue collar type of football player. Give
Yeah.
himself the right opportunity and under the right, coaching staff. I think that he can thrive. He's definitely a
Yeah.
rotational piece. Like
Mm-hmm.
I say, 6'4", 257, very long guy, long
Yeah.
arm. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I love that size for an edge guy.
Yeah. Has good speed. You know what I'm saying? And he's a thick dude. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I was intrigued by that signing. Did my research on the guy, and I was like, you know what, this is somebody kind of comparable, probably an upgrade more than anything. But Shaq Lawson comes to mind when it comes to him. You know what I'm saying? A
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
more athletic guy, somebody who can do the dirty work. Somebody who can defend the run very well. Um, and probably get you a good pass rush too. So
Yeah.
definitely good rotational piece. Love his motor. He won't stop. He won't be chicken fight with the offensive lineman. So I think that's another good depth piece.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I love that addition.
yeah, man. The guy I was really excited about is probably a little bit more than Mike Edwards. Was the Austin Johnson signing?
Jackson.
Austin Jackson. That was Austin
Is it Jackson or Johnson?
Austin Johnson.
Okay. Okay.
So definitely with the Titans, with the Chargers. Him and Daquan play together.
Mm-hmm. College
Team.
and in Tennessee.
Yeah,
Yeah, they both went to Penn State together, and both got drafted by the Titans.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, another guy that's what 6'4", 314 pounds.
Yeah,
Uh,
good size. That was the main thing when I seen that. And I think his best season might have been year before last.
yeah,
I can't remember the numbers that he put up, but yeah, when I seen that size, I said that's gonna be the replacement for Jordan Phillips on that second wave.
Of
And
course.
I think he might can possibly bring more to the table and show better flashes than what Phillips did these last 2 seasons. You know, I know Phillips had to battle through a lot the past couple seasons. We didn't really get what we expected to get out of him. But yeah, this Austin Johnson pickup, man, when I seen that late pickup in free agency, like you say, I'm pretty sure Daquan recruited him in.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, good depth piece. Uh, makes it to where we don't have to rush to get a tackle in the draft. You know, we don't have to go super early. We already have a starting four with our defensive line, and I'm pretty sure Vaughn is going to be with that second wave. So it'll probably be Groot and AJ, you know, with starting four. But that's what it seems like. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna have to play out. You know,
Doesn't
Vaughn
matter.
could,
We
yeah,
still we're
Vaughn,
still
yeah,
building that first and second team,
yeah, yeah.
whoever it may be.
So the two depth pieces that we added in free agency, like you say, underrated, but guys that can contribute. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys that can come in and can contribute right away, got experience, got snaps, you know. So yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And this is a guy that, you're not gonna get too much pass rush against him. He may. I mean, Daquan was one of those guys they were talking about, he wasn't really a pass rusher, and he was on his way and having a pretty good season last year if he didn't get hurt.
Right,
Um
right. It's all in the defensive philosophy, man, and our guys get to attack, you
yeah,
know. So
yeah,
yeah, it's not like I knows you have to just stand the center and the guard, you know, stand up and and let the three tech work. Now everybody get after it. You know what I'm saying? I love that,
yeah.
and it's
So that's
probably
what I'm
gonna be
saying.
even more under Bobby Babbage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't wait for that. Can't wait for Bob Babbage. I mean, he
Bobby
just
B.
So let's go on the offensive side of the ball. I think that's all on
Yeah,
the defense, right? No
yeah,
signing.
yeah. Yeah, that's all on defense.
Yeah. So, let's talk about, our offense side of the ball. Mac Hollins.
Yes,
He was
sir.
a good signing, man. I love that signing. People
Mm-hmm.
want to say, that's the another Trent Sherfield, but I mean, the guy 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago, had a stellar season to me. I mean, his best season with the Raiders. I think that we were eyeballing him coming out of that
Mm-hmm.
season. Um,
Yeah, I think
but
his number got a little high, coming off of that good season going into that free agency period when Atlanta picked him up.
yeah, what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and if they're comparing him to the Trent Sherfield signing, that's a hell of an upgrade.
Hell of an upgrade. I mean,
When you
this guy
talk
take
about size, hey, yeah, when you talk about size, uh, being aggressive at the point of the catch, using his physical attributes, yeah, he had a down season with the Falcons, but who wouldn't playing with Desmond Ritter, whatever the quarterback name is out
Desmond
there?
get rid of him.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's why Kirk Cousins is there. That's why they would have paid Kirk Cousins the same thing Patrick Mahomes making if they needed to. That did not have to go back to that. You know what I'm saying? So uh, I don't think when players have to play with a quarterback in those type of situations, even Curtis Samuel last year in Washington, what do you expect? You know what I'm saying? Did
Mhm.
Terry McLaurin look like Terry McLaurin last year?
Nope. And he was
Nope.
on my fantasy team.
Really? Yeah, he didn't look like
Stayed on the
himself last year.
yeah,
But what do
stayed
you
on.
expect? You playing with a quarterback that was one of the most sacked quarterbacks, hold the ball for a long time. If you can't expect much in those situations. Now, if
Yeah,
these guys put up these kind of numbers with established quarterbacks, then okay, that's a question. That's a red flag to me.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So yeah, the upgrade with Mac Hollins.
yeah. I mean, good, excellent. run blocker.
Oh
He's
yeah,
been a captain on special teams for a few teams, definitely even in college. So someone who
yep,
takes pride in special teams. Um, but yeah, run blocking can attack the point of the attack with the ball. Um,
yep,
he can play on the boundary. He can play, intermediately. Has good speed, 4.5. You know,
yeah.
and he's
Love
exciting.
his mentality, man. His mentality, his attitude.
Yeah,
He's a total team player, man.
yeah,
He's exactly what Buffalo Bills, what a Buffalo Bill is.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's that. I mean, prime example. Just as soon as I heard him speak, I said, "Oh, that's a Bill right there."
yeah.
He'll come here and love it, and he'll have his best years here, even if it's not number wise.
Right, right. That's what I'm saying. His contributions, man, that makes teams successful. And you can look at the Chiefs and what they did. I mean, they played collectively as a team. The offense struggled like hell last season, but collectively as a team, they brought another chip home. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with the Bills. I mean, like I say, man, we're getting important pieces to make, strong contributions to our team. Hollins is a very good hire. I mean, a good signing, and, for everything that we just said. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So,
you said that like he got hired at the cafeteria or something. Yeah, Mac Hollins, he hired him in to mop these floors. Yeah, that's a great
he does an excellent job cleaning those toilets.
toothbrush.
Yeah, we gotta put him on a line. But but yeah, I think he was a great hire. So I mean, a good. I keep saying. I don't know why I keep saying that. But all right, so let's get off Mac Hollins, man. So let's we got the big fish, man, Curtis Samuel. So
Yeah,
Curtis Samuel. All right, like I said, I figured we was going to make that signing because of the history and our needs, and
hmm
you know, but Curtis Samuel's game is intermediate routes. Um, it's very rarely, he really stretches the field like that, even though he runs 4.3. You know,
right.
came out of high school playing running back. They utilize him, in the backfield as well as a receiver at Ohio State.
Yep,
Um, had his best season, over 800 some yards, when Brady was the OC. I
yeah.
think four
Over
TDs,
1,000
three or four.
total.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So definitely another weapon that we can use on our offense. You know what I'm saying? And also, I want to say this, we're not putting labels on these receivers. You know what I'm saying? Every
Right,
receiver is going to know every position. We're going to have different formations. It's not a fact about, Samuel being the slot or wide receiver 2 or anything like that. It's
right,
not. It's not. And even if we go a receiver in the first round, it doesn't mean that he's going to be wide receiver 2. It's just how our offense is gonna operate. Because we're gonna have Kincaid moving around as well. You know,
right.
as a target. So, just the more targets that we have, like you'll have Stephon Diggs in the slot, which would be smart. Get him away
hmm
from the boundary. Put Matt Collins somewhere out in the boundary who can work the outside. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, being able to utilize different weapons and different, positions, that's what we need. Curtis Samuel
Right.
is one of those type of players,
Don't
you know.
forget about Secure.
But yeah, also, that's what I'm saying. He can play the boundary too. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
So be able to be able to utilize these weapons, that we have without putting a label on them. It put a lot more stress on the defense. So, I
Right.
wish everybody get out there a little their mind just for one moment and just understand like the philosophy of what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? You
Oh
still
yeah.
got Jimbo Cook, who could also line up as a receiver. You
Right.
you can bring in, to your point, total yard over 1,000 total yards that year Brady was there. You can line Curtis Samuel in the backfield and line Jimbo out as a receiver. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you can. I mean, because once you go into that huddle with whatever personnel you have, you don't know what's coming out of the huddle and how they go line up. I
Yeah.
mean, you could have both. You could have Samuels and Jimbo in the backfield.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You don't know if you're gonna hand it off to one, run the screen, but somebody, up the sideline on the wheel. I
Yeah.
mean, so much that you can do, man. So much that you can do with this type of personnel that we're gonna bring in. And we
Yeah.
and we're not even getting into draft this episode,
Not even.
so
Even. So
we got so many more options, I feel, this year with this personnel that's on the roster at the moment, more so than we did with Trent Sherfield, Gabe Davis, and Deontay Hardy.
I agree. I'm more excited about this than I was last year. It was kind of like, okay, what we're gonna do in the draft after free agency. Now I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
we can honestly probably line up, tomorrow and still be really, really competitive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So based on what we did on free agency alone, you know what I'm saying? So I was definitely excited. That was my most exciting signing in free agency is, signing Curtis Samuel. So he brings so much to the table. Um, we signed a center, Will Clapp, who played, you know, I think he started out with the Saints, and then he played a few years with um, the Chargers. Um, who else did we sign? That was pretty much it offensively, like, right? With
and
those
I didn't
guys.
even know about the center.
Yeah, yeah. Will Clapp.
Never
Like I said,
heard of.
I've
I was
never
trying.
heard of him,
I was
but
trying to. I was trying to make it ring a bell, but it didn't.
I never heard of him either, sir. But that's
Yeah,
another depth
depth
piece that
piece.
we got.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. You let go. We let go of Morse and uh
Bates,
what was the guard? Yeah, Bates.
Bates.
So yeah,
Hmm.
we needed some depth.
Yeah, we need somebody to hike the ball.
Right. Yeah,
So,
we put
am I
Reed
missing somebody?
Ferguson in at center.
Yeah, right. Hike the ball over Josh Head every play.
I
Uh,
knew it. And while getting annihilated by the nose.
Quentin Williams. We thought he did quit Mitch Moore's bad. Can you
Oh my
imagine what it
God.
Ferguson?
Miss Moore's glad he ain't got to deal with that twice a year no more. You talking about his elbows hurting shit.
Yeah, in your head. Yeah, all right. So I think that's all the signs that we have in free agency, man. If I'm missing somebody, man, forgive me. It's just, you know,
That's it, man. Outside of bringing Ty Johnson back,
yeah,
restructuring Knox, like I said, Knox and Josh, and re-signing Doc. Yeah, that's about it on offense.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, solid players across the board, offense and defense. I think that we addressed our needs, which was always a plan for Brandon Beane in the free agency period. Is to always address our needs in free agency and then draft. Because our philosophy in draft is always best player available. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it may be. And he made a comment today or yesterday, whichever one, about always wanting to address the trenches. And he will always do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, um, good insight on both him and Sean McDermott. about the state of the franchise. Um, the guys answer a lot of important questions. Also, Trey Day is not um, what's the word I'm looking for? He's not out the picture completely. Um, he's not completely out of the picture and coming back. That's what being said. So
That
um,
would be awesome.
I will love that, man. That's actually exciting news, and a lot of people start talking about that too. It was like a breath of fresh air to hear that. Like, hey, man, you can probably come back, or they'll probably still try to get him, later on, throughout the season. So
Yeah.
as rehabs, what I'm saying. I know he has some visits, but you know, people still going to be concerned about his medical condition, and how
It should be.
yeah, what I'm saying. So Trey White's is not completely out of the picture, which is very promising to hear. And neither is Michael Hyde apparently. But in my opinion, I think we should just move on from Michael Hyde.
Yeah,
Um,
he need to sit it down, man.
yeah, yeah, and it's not. I'm not saying that because he's a diminishing player. I'm saying that because your neck ain't nothing to mess with. I mean, you see
Right.
Damon Harris, who played 5 years in the league,
Yeah.
um, just hanging up. Uh,
Vander Esch as well
yeah,
for the
you know,
Cowboys.
yeah, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So those are smart decisions, man. Like
Hmm.
it's just it doesn't make sense to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he should just hang it up. I think he has a niche. I mean, maybe he'll be get in Good Morning Football. He was there on there quite a bit last summer. So
Yeah.
I think he'll fit right in with that group. So
Yeah.
um,
Him and Maddie did a good job together too on the little segment they had together as well.
yeah, yeah, for real. I mean, but that's what I'm saying is like he has a different calling, man. He can do that. It's more safe for him. So rather than be on the field, it's tough to walk away from the game like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you got to make sure you keep, not only yourself, um, you got to consider yourself, but you got people that rely on you, such as your wife and kids as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, um, other than that, man, hey, man, I think, we're heading in the right direction. Um, we started out with our coaches and we started out with the foundation of our team, and then we're bringing in important veteran pieces that can most likely, wear the C and become leaders in the locker room as well. So,
Yeah.
um, we got guys stepping up like Teron Johnson and Dawkins, and um, we're gonna look to
I'm
resign
pretty sure Terrell Bernard will have a C on his jersey next season.
for
He
sure,
better.
for sure. Yeah, man, that dude is known for his leadership. So,
Yep.
um, yeah. Other than that, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. So we'll
Yeah,
just
me too.
we'll see, what it brings, and you know, and just get prepared for the draft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. But all right, man. That's our show. It was good, to be back, and
Oh
get
yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
state of the franchise. So, but guys, don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe, click that notification bell. And our next show we will be talking about um our NFL draft prospects. Apparently wide receivers different top of the list to talk about, but we'll see, man. So that's our show, man. I'm your boy TG, my man, it's your boy Top Billing, man. We out of here.
Holla.